Factsverse presents. This dying woman wrote her own obituary, and it shares some frank advice everyone needs to hear. When a person dies, it's customary for their family members or the newspaper staff to write an obituary for them. It's a way to let people know that the person has passed on and to let people know a bit about that person's life. If the family writes the obituary, it has a more personal touch than if the newspaper or the funeral home writes it. Some people choose to write their own obituary before they pass, giving them a chance to speak to their loved ones just one more time. Emily DeBreda Phillips was from Florida, and she was suffering from pancreatic cancer. She knew her time on Earth had almost ended, so she decided to write her own obituary. It read, "It pains me to admit it, but apparently I have passed away. Everyone told me it would happen one day, but that's simply not something I wanted to hear, much less experience. Once again, I didn't get things my way." She chose to end her obituary on a funny note, writing, "Please don't cry because I'm gone. Instead, be happy that I was here. Or maybe you can cry a little bit. After all, I have passed away. Today I'm happy and dancing. Probably naked. Love you forever." Kay wrote a similar obituary. Kay Ann Hegstart, a Wisconsin resident, was suffering from bone marrow cancer, and knowing she was terminal, she wrote her own obituary. She wrote, "Kay Ann Hegstead, 72, bought the farm, is no more, has ceased to be, has left this world, is bereft of life, gave up the ghost, kicked the bucket, sieste finie." She also wanted to thank those who were there for her, and she wrote, "No one should say I fought a courageous battle because I didn't. I complained the whole time and I was a whiner. I was ready to quit treatment at times, but my family pushed me to continue. Now it's time to have a party and say goodbye to friends and relatives." Angus B. MacDonald from Nova Scotia wrote his own obituary and made sure to mention his late dog Scarlet. He wrote, "I bought the farm, I bit the dust, so I guess I'm off to the promised land, eh? The promised land. Imagine, I think I was a nice guy despite being a former punk and despite what some people would say about me. What did they know about me anyway? I loved my family and cared for them through good times and bad. I did my best, so I guess if there's a place in the afterlife where little dogs and old dogs go, that's where you'll find Scarlet and me. Maybe I'll see you all there sometime." While many of the obituaries that people write themselves have some humor, some are different. This dying woman wrote her own obituary, and it shares some frank advice that everybody needs to hear. Sonia Todd lived in Moscow, Idaho, with her husband Brian and her two sons, Jason and James. She had a beautiful family, and she was very religious. She had cancer, and when she had exhausted all treatment options, the 38-year-old mother was preparing to die. Knowing that she was nearing the end of her life, she wrote her own obituary in October of 2012. In the obituary, Sonia wrote, "My name is Sonia Todd, and I died of cancer at the age of 38. I decided to write my own obituary because they're usually written in a couple of ways that I don't care for." She didn't like the timeline format that was often used, and she didn't feel like her death was an excuse to celebrate irrelevant achievements. Other than marrying a great guy, having two amazing children, and accepting Jesus Christ as her savior, she didn't do much to write about. She also said that she didn't want her family and friends sitting down creating an obituary filled with half-truths and fishtails. She admitted that she didn't always do the right thing, and she didn't always say the right thing. She admitted that she felt that she'd failed in certain aspects of her life. She wrote that at the end of your life, there are things that you regret, mostly the small things that you did to hurt other people. She wrote, "I would totally scrap the years of my life from age 16 to 20. Okay, maybe 14 to 22. I think that would eradicate most of my fashion disasters and hair missteps from the 80s. She added a bit of humor to her obituary as well by writing, "There are benefits to dying young. I still owe on my student loans, and the joke's on them, I'm not paying. I'm also no longer afraid of serial killers, telemarketers, or the IRS. I also don't have to worry about wrinkles or the ozone layer." Well, Sonia made sure to thank her loved ones in her obituary for always being there for her. She also wanted to offer those who knew her and those who didn't some advice. She asked that people steer clear of smoking and driving under the influence. She reminded people to volunteer at schools and churches and always try to spread joy and make people smile. A few websites picked up Sonia's obituary, and it was eventually posted on the Facebook page Love What Matters. It was shared over 5,600 times, and it received over 40,000 likes. She wanted to help people in their own lives, and thanks to the viral post, she did. What would you say in your own obituary? Tell us in the comments and subscribe for more.